Well, thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom. Greetings to you all. I hope you all got to have a happy Mother's Day. Is there anyone who deserves our support, our love, our attention more than Mother? Now, I'm on the road this week, and I'm in a place where the internet is not too good, so I cannot be sure when you will get this. And for the first time in a long time, I don't really have access to a guitar, so I cannot, sing for you the way I have been lately. And I know some of you will think that's a blessing, and some will think that that's a curse. And that's a clue to one of the things we will talk about today. And birthday greetings, I want to send them also out to our great friend Melissa. She too gets to share her birthday with the Healing Month. And no one deserves a better year than you, my dear. I feel this is going to be a really special year for you and for your husband. And so all of you whose birthday is in this month of healing, you get just a little bit stronger connection than the rest of us. But let's share it all around. Let's share healing and goodwill and love with all of the people in our lives. Let's send out healing energy to all who need it. Think of those you know, for them, for everyone, for love, for renewal, the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love that you send. All just circles the world, my friends, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you. Now, I have been able to just, I found this little kid guitar, and I'm going to use that to try and provide at least some music for you. Mi sheberach avotenu makor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Mishberach. Let us all, everywhere the world over, have our spirits renewed. Now, and while away, I got to spend a few days with a very dear old friend of mine, SB. It was wonderful seeing her. She picked me up at the airport, took me around to all of the places that I needed to go. So I appreciate the fact that I did not have to wander to try and find anything. That was such a fantastic bonus and so unexpected. And it was nice catching up after so many years. Isn't it amazing, my friends, how there were some people you may not see in years, but you see them once in a while, and you can even pick up a conversation where you left off. Now, it comes from friendship and from truly knowing someone. Now, thank you, my dear. It was great seeing you. I look forward to the next time. And this is someone who I know really knows me. And it is the coming together as friends, as a chabura, a fellowship, joining to express our nature of kindness, compassion, an energy of sharing of thoughts and feelings and hopes and dreams and wishes that unites us all coming together every week in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, house of spirit. So once again, please do go ahead, invite everybody you know, physically or spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together right now. Hine Matov u'benai shevetachim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'benai shevetachim gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community, 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 together. It's all about being together, isn't it, my friends? And it was also great seeing another old friend of mine, Pablito. It was wonderful seeing Pablito. He's also part of a wonderful community. Well, we have another two-part reading to end this book of instruction, the book of Leviticus. So we're going to say goodbye to it this week, and I know for many of you, you can't wait. And then we can get on with the journey, the book of Numbers. And some of us are still on that journey. So those of you who see someone struggling along the road to their promised land, their freedom, offer them a helping hand along that road. Now this week lacks any of the magic of what little magic there is in Leviticus. The first part introducing us to the brilliant idea of the sabbatical year and the year of Jubilee. An amazing idea way ahead of its time, and one which may have never seen the light of day. Leviticus 25:1. 6 years you shall sow the fields, and 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in its yield. And in the 7th year there shall be an absolute Sabbath for the land, a Sabbath to the Lord. Your field you shall not sow, and your vineyard you shall not prune. An absolute Sabbath. Now that's the same term as on Yom Kippur. We rest. Why shouldn't the land? As hard as we may work, we work the land harder. It has so much more responsibility than we do, my friends. Okay, so what happens? Well, as it says, in the 6th year, the land will make the produce for 3 years. For year 6, then for year 7, the Sabbath year, while it rests. And because it is not planted till the next year, for year 8, while you wait for that current year, year 8's crop to come. It's like manna, just enough for the purpose needed. Now, in this case, the purpose is so you live, so the land regenerates. So you get 3 years worth out of that 1 year. And then an incredible announcement is made in Leviticus 25:10. And you shall send round a blasting ram's horn in the 7th month, on the 10th of the month, on the Day of Atonement. You shall send round a ram's horn through all your land. And you shall hallow the 50th year, and call a release in the land to all its inhabitants. A jubilee it shall be for you. And you shall go back, each man to his holding, and each man to his clan. You shall go back. Now, a jubilee, yovel, that's another use of the term for shofar. See, the blowing of the horn had special significance, used at very specific times. Now, how amazing this was. The land that was allocated to a tribal member, which we haven't even seen it allocated yet. That's going to take place in the next couple of weeks. That goes back to that family. Every Israelite is to be apportioned some land. And like I say, that'll be described in the books of Numbers and Joshua. And the deity commands that in every 50th year, the system returns to where it started, back to the beginning. Now, and a fun fact for those of you who do read this and notice the wording of Leviticus 25:10, and you shall consecrate the year that makes 50 years, and proclaim liberty in the land. To all its inhabitants, it shall be a jubilee for you. Well, that's your standard translation that you're going to read. Now, this was a concern of the jubilee only, whereas the King James Bible took poetic license. And this quote found its way to the Liberty Bell. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto the inhabitants thereof. Well, we know that it meant only every 50 years, and the biblical Hebrew noun deror does not mean liberty per se. It actually came from an Akkadian term, anduraru, which means release from or moratorium on debts and indenture. Now, this system, as amazing as it was, could not have lasted past Second Temple times because tribal territory had historically disappeared. And so the rabbis would have to come up with a new system. And some of the terms in normal land transactions called for by law were also quite amazing. It was a brilliant thing. It just didn't last that long. And when you shall sell property to your fellow or buy from the hand of your fellow, you shall not defraud one another. Now, that's not the first time that God told man not to defraud and not to cheat. That is one of the Vidway questions asked every year during the Yom Kippur service, my friend. Now, an incredible formula was actually put in place, and you can read that in Leviticus 25:15. By the number of years after the Jubilee you shall buy from your fellow. By the number of years of yield he shall sell to you. The larger the number of years, the more you shall pay for its purchase, and the smaller the number of years, the less you shall pay for its purchase, since he is selling you the number of yields. Now, why such a system? And why would it work? Well, God says in Leviticus 25:25, And the land shall not be sold irreversibly, for mine is the land. For you are sojourning settlers with me. And in all the land of your holdings you shall allow a redemption for the land. Should your brother come to ruin and sell his holding, his redeemer, who is related to him, shall come and redeem what his brother sold. And should a man have no redeemer, and his hand detain one and find enough for its redemption, he shall reckon the years it was sold and give back the difference to the man to whom he sold, and he shall go back to his holding. See, the land's not yours. It is God's. He says we are aliens and visitors with him. It's his land. We're temporary caretakers of everything on earth. It is our egos that think otherwise, and we are still simply temporary caretakers. See, the Jubilee guaranteed that land was returned and that people were freed. So the Jubilee year he shall work under you, and he shall be released from you, he and his children with him, and go back to his clan, to his father's holdings he shall go back, for they are my slaves, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. Now what's interesting here is that there's emphasis on the return to where things are supposed to be. And so we have an understood obligation to help. As one's brother's needs increases, so does one's responsibility to help them. Now, as we have converted that in some ways into our universal mission of tikkun olam, repairing the world, but we have forgotten about redeeming for our brother. Now, what we are really seeing is God as king, declaring rules and regulations, and stating the people are now his slaves. Now, it's not the only time in the Bible that God says the people were freed from Egypt to be his slaves. Now, granted, it's a strange declaration that has puzzled scholars from Rashi on, but Israelites, as God's covenanted people, have assumed the condition of God's slaves in that they are prohibited from treating each other as slaves. Yes, the time in the mountains is an interesting time. There's always something mystical about mountains. In many cultures, including the forefathers of the ancient Jewish one, God or gods were associated with mountains. Mount Olympus to the Greeks, Mount Sinai to the Midianites and the Hebrews, Mount Ida in Turkey near Troy, where the Earth Mother supposedly lived. There's the Cusco Mountains of Peru, special to the Incans. Mount Kailash in Tibet, home to the god Shiva. And today, there's Mount Taranaki in New Zealand, where the natives center all of their entire lives around the mountain and around the mountain rituals. Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. I've seen it raining fire in the sky. Talk to God and listen to the casual reply. Rocky Mountain High. Good old John Denver. Now, the second part, and the first part was pretty interesting with this concept of the Jubilee and the Sabbath for the land. But the second part is all about blessing and curses. Things we talked about that I said, was one of the things you would be finding out about. And you're going to hear it over and over again for pretty well the rest of the Torah. It's something biblical man was quite used to. This last reading from Leviticus promises blessings and rewards for Israel if they will keep the Torah, but punishment and curses if they break the commandments of the Torah. Now, there are the usual ones. Rain, good crops, success, safety, freedom. Leviticus 26:4. If you go by my statutes and keep my commands and do them, I shall give you rains in their season, and the land will give you its yield, and the tree of the field will give its fruit. Basically, what you got there is a fantastic life. But if you do not heed me, do not do all these commands, and if you reject my statutes, if you loathe my laws, not doing all my commands, voiding my covenant, I, on my part, will do this to you. I will direct panic against you, and I will set my face against you. Now that's the antithesis of I shall turn towards you. Right? So on the one hand, you do well and God will turn to you and be great. You disobey any of these commands. So it's an all or nothing. And it's not going to be too pleasant for people. And so, we have a list of blessings that will follow if Israel keeps the covenant and the ghastly curses and consequences if it violates the covenant. And when you read the detail of the curse, you understand why there's really only one choice. And these are expanded further in the Bible, and we'll examine them powerfully presented in Deuteronomy 28, probably more so there than here, right before the amazing song of Moses. Now, their highlights, of course, include, and you shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters you shall eat. And the worst of all, the one we still suffer from, my friends, and you I will scatter among the nations. You shall perish among the nations, and the land of your enemies shall consume you. So I guess you can tell which way we have leaned over time, but we're working on it. We strive individually and as a people to return to Shuvah, that incredible concept at the heart and soul of each of us, and all part and parcel of this business about, the Jubilee year. When you know you've done something wrong, doesn't it gnaw at you till you get it right? We have the knowledge of good and bad from the tree. We vibrate according to God in Genesis to the bad, the evil. But something down deep draws on our heartstrings to make it right so that we do good. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feeling with them. Live free, be free. Honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody that you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to everybody who needs it. And please do. Learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. I love all of you. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. God bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace. Keep on working on manifesting your year of freedom, your new life. With all its new opportunities, it's always there waiting for you. Now remember, we do set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our cause, our effect, everything is linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You do have that knowledge of what is good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any other person you've wronged, and ask forgiveness. And do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Now forgive those who've hurt you. As you learn to be forgiving and be compassionate in life, do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always in front of you. Remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love and in all of you. Now act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all peoples know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere that you go, my friends. Work to be present in the body. Expand the heart, quiet the mind. Because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and mindfulness and the ability to be present, to be here in all circumstances. Make the most of your time in this life. Recognize your ability to be holy, to influence all the lives around you. You are forever blessed, and you have the ability to bring blessings to absolutely everybody you meet. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young. Stay forever young, my friends. That's what comes from being blessed. So enjoy and spread the blessings of God. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone because someone is always there for you, whether you know it or not. Now be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, be loving. Until next time,